Welcome to the Rounds of Life podcast, where every round's a different challenge, and we're just trying to make it to the bell. I'm Caden Ellis.
Now, Milton Leva Del Carmen, from cage fighting to real fights, we're breaking down MMA, the menace of the world, and whatever else life throws at us.
No rules, no judges, just raw talk. Let's tap in. So, welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is extra special. We got 2023 Golden Gloves champion joining us, my friend Skyler, the Ripper Hanna, who's an experienced boxer. He's also here to help us break down three huge upcoming fights that are coming up, involving Ryan Garcia versus Romero. You have Canelo Álvarez versus William Scull, and then of course, I always struggle saying his name, but he's a really good boxer out of Japan, the best there is. I know my friend Skyler really likes him. Inoue.
Naoya Inoue.
There you go.
Naoya Inoue.
Yes.
Yep.
Versus
Yeah.
Ramon
It tripped me up the
Cardenas.
first few times too, man. It tripped me up the first few times too.
But we'll dive deep into each of these matchups, talk about what's at stake, and of course, hear about his boxing career and what's next for him in that ring. Now let's get into it.
Well, first and foremost, guys, I just want to thank you for inviting me on. I really appreciate it. And when I heard you two were going to host a podcast, bro, I was like ecstatic. I knew you guys were perfect for it. I've hung out with Caden a lot. I've trained with Caden a lot. I hung out with Milt for your fights. And, bro, Milton's cool as hell, too. So I knew you two would work very well together. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate that.
You're cool,
And
too.
I wouldn't want to, dude, this is a perfect first guest like we could have, like I wouldn't want any better one. So it's perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Starting off, I want to talk about early in your career. I feel like that's where I feel like the best way to start.
Okay.
Tell us about how you first got into boxing. What motivated you to pursue it seriously?
So it started back in like 7th grade, I would say, right? A good friend of mine basically got one pair of boxing gloves. We've been friends since kids, and he started boxing all the kids around town with those throughout school, and he would film it. And then one day he threw me the gloves and threw me a pair of headgear and was like, all right, we're going to go. And I was like, what? I was like really into academics and all that stuff, so it never really interested me at the time, but he like beat the crap out of me pretty much. And for some reason, like the defeat made me want to just get better so I could beat him, so I could do the same thing to him. So at first it was like a rivalry, really. And then, I was going around town boxing all kids, big and small. I was like 4'11", 5'2", and all these kids were like 160, 5'9", and I was just at a massive disadvantage. And, it was really hard because like I was always losing, really. Before I started going to a gym and learning really what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I started taking it seriously after I did start to beat other kids, after I did see success. And I don't know, it felt like that's where I needed to be. When I had the gloves on, I felt like me. So that's really where the beginning was.
That's awesome. What did you get any did you shy away at all from because you said you was getting beat up all the time when you was going, but you kept coming back. So what made you keep coming back?
That dog, man.
That dog.
That dog. Like I was bad at it, but like something in me was like, I can't quit now. I'd rather die than quit now. I'd rather die than be embarrassed forever. Like that embarrassment was short lived. If I kept coming back, I could, you know what I mean.
And I feel like just as a fighter standpoint, that's the number one question, number one rule for fighting is can you take a hit? And you showed that, coming back all the time. So you answered the number one rule right there. And another question I got for you, obviously you were undersized fighting kids back then, but from your fights from growing up from 7th grade, like you said you started, to even in the gym to when you actually first got into the ring, what would you say is your toughest fight early in your career, and what did you learn from it?
Okay, so toughest fight. My first fight, I had a moment in it in which I got rocked at the very last few seconds of like the first round.
This is your debut?
You know, yeah, my debut, 2023, April 8th. I was boxing this kid. We were both 0-0. And I basically pressured him, and I was dog walking him the whole first round, really. And then I hit him towards the ropes. And, you know, at our gym, at Redemption MMA, it's MMA gym, we don't have a ring. We have the walls, you know, the padding. You know it. So I wasn't used to people, like, leaning on the ropes at all. So I thought I had him, and he used the ropes to kind of get more distance, and he countered with a right hand, and it landed, like, flush. I got wobbled. And then the bell rang. He threw punches after the bell. But like I sat down on the stool, recovered, and then I dominated afterwards. So that really was like the first moment where I had to really overcome some major adversity. But my hardest fight was the second one.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that the kid was better than me. It was I defeated myself before the fight even happened.
Mm.
Like my legs were shaking. I was super nervous. I had like the weight, the pressure to perform, and
just in your head.
Yeah, just in my head. And when I got in there, I wasn't me, you know, like I was hitting hard, but I wasn't boxing like I should have. So that was the biggest lesson, was don't defeat yourself before the fight even starts.
Yeah. Like keeping the mind strong at all times is very key and important. And it's hard to do. Like underneath all that pressure, it's very hard to do. And I don't think people like realize that. Like they overlook just they're fighting, but no, it's the preparation, it's the weight cut, it's like it's the time leading up to it, you know. It's not like you see red, we fight. It's not like we have this date and we're watching the time go down and we're just waiting for that moment. And it's right there, like that right there gets you going, you know what I mean?
Right. Dude,
So,
it's all mental, man. It really is.
It is.
I wanted to ask what you guys think it is in comparison with like striking, with wrestling and MMA. Like, how do you think the mental game is there versus boxing?
Just like from an MMA standpoint, or
Yeah, from an MMA standpoint, and then Milton with like a wrestling standpoint.
you want to go first, Milton?
I'll say for me, when I was, because I originally like first like, boxed, I guess. I wasn't doing it at like high level or anything. It was just like purely just scrapping.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed like to fight in general. Like my goals usually whenever it was like these types of like outdoor fights, they were always just like to cause damage. It was just like just pure like scrapping. But with wrestling, I found it a little different. I found that it was I couldn't understand it at first just because it was something completely foreign to me. So like my mindset changed entirely from like causing damage to like trying to control someone. Like I don't know. It's different. Like my goal is usually just to put them down, kind of like just to suffocate them in some sort of way. Like whether it's like pressure or finding other technical needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like my view would be different. Is like grappling would be trying to control somebody, get the better position constantly, kind of keeping them like as a pet in like like a weird way.
Just controlling, right?
Yeah, and then with like striking, yeah, more so just like cause some damage.
Okay.
I feel like just so back to the question, like question is like, what's the key to like strengthening the mind or like to preparation, having the right mindset?
Yeah.
I feel like it involves first the camp, like the people around you. That I think I feel like that's a huge role. It's all about because that fight's the big night, but the big days are leading up to it, and those are the days that you're in the camp, you're in the gym working, and it's really about the people you have around you. Like there's days this shit gets ugly, you know, and you gotta have someone like make it a little enjoyable. Like I feel like Justin does that very well. He's always just cracking jokes.
Sure.
You know? You need a jokester at times because I don't know. It's a real game, and being real all the time, it will slowly.
It's draining, dude.
It'll break you. Yeah, it'll drain. But I feel like just having a good set of it's a family. You know what I mean? Just having that family around you. That's all about
Bro,
the
I haven't like. Sorry to interrupt, man.
no, you're good.
I haven't like really hung out with too many of the guys from the gym. We really only know each other from sparring and talking in the gym. But I feel like I know them better than I know some of my other friends. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you can communicate so much through martial arts in general.
Like those rounds you put in the gym, those are rounds of life. Like those are, you know what I mean?
Love it.
There's no other way you could get it. Uh, I want to talk about your Golden Gloves, novice 2003, right? Champion.
2023, yeah.
Um,
So
winning that was a huge accomplishment. And like, how did that experience? Like, what kind of experience did you get from that? And where do you feel like, what was the hardest part of that tournament as well?
the hardest part of the tournament was preparing for fights that kept falling through. So like sub novice basically means you didn't have any experience in any other martial arts, and so you were basically complete zero, and then you're fighting other people with that same level of
Yeah,
skill.
I know. I had a couple of some. They make some novice wrestling tournaments like that as well.
That's see, I like
Yeah.
that. It's good because it's like skill based matchmaking. Get
Mhm.
a feel for it. Um, so there were supposed to be 4 total rounds, but usually in Buffalo Golden Gloves you don't get that. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll only have 3. But guy pulled out, guy pulled out. So for the championship of sub novice in 2023, my first fight was for like the title.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, it was. I mean, me and Coach were joking that like I was gonna be 0-0 and still have the title because everybody pulled out.
Mhm. Did you feel a little more
But
pressure though, like having that, like knowing like
what's up?
did you feel a little more pressure though, like knowing like your first fight right there was gonna yeah.
Yeah, man. Like for that one, it was so weird. Like I could feel the change in breathing as I had to walk
Mm.
closer to the ring, and like as it became more real, I was like, oh shit, like this is not like it was before, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but this thing like hit me, and I haven't really done this since, because I'm trying to change my mentality from wanting to like maul people to be a little more technical. I understand that could be counterintuitive, but my first opponent in Golden Gloves, he looked really nervous. Like his coach was massaging his shoulders and like he was kind of like shaking, and I saw that and I was like, I feel the same way inside, but I'm not gonna let him know that. So when I got into the ring, I just did not break eye contact with him, and I could see him like dart all over the room with his eyes, and I knew I had him. I knew it like mentally, I had him, and yeah, it showed in the fight. Really, it definitely did.
Mhm. Body language tells a lot. It really does.
Does.
For sure.
Um, I want to talk about your training and preparation, like leading up to these fights and these big fights, these tournaments that you be taking. Like, how do you approach training for a big fight? Can you walk us through a typical week in your camp?
Sure, man. It really is just lots of drilling. Like I'm an old school fighter in the sense of how I believe training should go. I think these new guys tend to focus a little too much on flashy stuff and things, that'll get you in shape, but they're not really worth it.
Yeah.
Like shadow boxing is misunderstood nowadays. Like you got guys doing the shoe shining for forever, and that's not really that good unless you're pairing it with like burpees or something, doing a circuit with it. Shadow boxing should be first and foremost just sharpening every mechanic of the punch. So like break it down into thousands of pieces. The jab. Okay, he's got a really good snappy jab, but he doesn't turn the fist over. So like if I notice that I'm not turning the fist over, I'll shadow box around and focus on turning that fist over. Like perfectionism
Yeah.
is basically where my training's at.
I like that.
Lots of cardio, just running until I don't feel like running anymore, and sparring when I can spar. And it's really old school, classic stuff. I used to train at my house a lot, so I couldn't really work with a lot of things. So I made do with what I had.
But training with you, I could definitely say perfectionist. That's something you were like from the style that you had it, everything was like just like I don't know, it just had its own unique way of doing it, but it was like perfect. Like really. Like just from the way you threw your 1-2s, just straights, like sniff with it, come back. You had that Philly shell. I know that Philly shell you've been working on a lot, and you came like
I appreciate it, man.
that's sharp. I like the Philly shell.
For the cross guard too, man. That's been
Yeah, I see that.
changing the game, man. Changing the game.
I see you use that a lot in your fights, the cross guard.
I've used it a little bit. I haven't been able to use it as much as I want,
Yeah,
just because like where I'm at in my career, it's amateurs, and it's the lower levels of amateurs, so it's only 2-minute rounds, 3 rounds total. I don't really want to like go into brawls with these guys, I just want to dance around them and win these fights and get experience. And like if I have to grit on my mouthpiece and brawl, I will. But none of these guys have really pushed me to do that.
That's
So
something I've
until that
noticed
happens,
too.
I'm not going to unleash it,
100%. I've noticed that too. Like, because I've only like watched a few amateur boxing fights, and of course they were yours, and you
Yeah.
could tell like the judges really only like they look more for like the perfect form to like
Yep.
who's faster, who's in and out, who's throwing more. Like they just like the more active fighter I see. And that's it
Yep.
kind of reminds me like back when I was like fighting kickboxing. Is like it
Yeah.
reminds me the same thing. Like whoever's like the active fighter more doesn't even like whoever.
Damage is kind of out of the
Yeah,
picture.
it really is. Like if you throw one big punch, but this dude just keeps like rambunctioning you in your face all the time throughout the rounds, he's gonna win. Like that's just what they see. That's all they really care.
And that's the sad reality of it, like I used to want to get like the KOs in amateur fighting
Yeah.
and like focused on dealing damage, but I learned really quickly it doesn't matter if you throw one hard one. It's the same as one light one.
Mhm.
So I switched to just throwing really high volume and try not to be in the vicinity of punches so they can't really catch up in points.
For
But
upcoming fights, what's next for you? You know, any
it's
dates
still in
you
the
have?
infancy. Trying to get boxing matches in amateurs, especially in like where we're at, it's pretty hard because they're not like there's no promotion like a full contact, for
Yeah.
example, where they kind of like encompass all the fighters and you got titles and all that. It's just random gyms, or sometimes you got cool promoters that'll do an amateur event, but it's like sporadic. But June 29th, potentially in Hamburg. That's one of them. And then there's another one sometime in July, I believe, in Jamestown that we're looking at. Jamestown. So we'll see. We'll see.
Jamestown. What? How's that? Like 2 hours from?
Dude, it's like 2 or 3 hours. It's a
Yeah.
long drive, man. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Is that a tournament or is that just a one day?
Just a one fight.
Yeah. Hey.
Is what it is, man. I'll
Yeah.
travel.
Um. How do you stay motivated? Like having like a few fights? Cause I don't know about you, but like I feel like it's very easy to be motivated when you have that debut. You know, when you have that second fight coming. But when
Yep.
you're in the game for a little bit, like what keeps you motivated? What you know what I mean?
Um, it is hard, and motivation is definitely a struggle when you don't have consecutive fights, like you were saying. But personally, I don't feel alive if I'm not fighting. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like if I'm not training, it doesn't feel right. Like to put it really bluntly, I feel like one of them dogs that they put in the pens, and then when they try to reintroduce it, you can't reintroduce it. So like for me, I have to fight. I have to train. I have to have that lifestyle. So even if I'm like off for a week, my body will start being like, "Yo, you need to get the fuck out of here. You need to go run. You need to go. You got to go do stuff." So it's almost like a natural motivation.
I know many people use like not even just like martial arts, but gym, lifting. It's like a therapy. The dopamine it releases
Yeah,
from the brain.
dude, for sure, definitely. Do you feel like related to that anyway, or?
Uh, yeah, I'd say so. 100%. How about you, Mel? You feel like that?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, oh my god, bro. Like, wrestling's changed so much for me when it comes to like looking forward for like tomorrow because I just want to compete. Like most of the time, my body itches to do something, and for me, the highest form of like dopamine, I guess, is like the biggest reward is like winning a match or like trying to go through the fire because you learn something. I like that. I like that portion of competition. But I don't know. I'm always itching to get better. So I'm always working on and shit.
The best mindset to have, man. Bro, and that post fight feeling is like there's no high like it,
Cloud
man.
nine.
Like when you win, oh,
There's like it's a feeling that you can't even explain to people that they're just gonna have to do it. Like that's the best way to explain it. You're just gonna have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Dude, do you guys sleep? Can you guys sleep afterwards? Because I can't freaking sleep after
Oh
a
no,
fight.
I don't sleep until like the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's cloud nine. Like you're really on like you're high. You're high off that win. You're feeling it.
Hell yeah.
Everyone around you like calling you champ,
You the
calling
man.
you him. You the man. You know you feel the man. Which you have any advice for aspiring boxers that like for anyone's listening who's interested in boxing? What's the piece of advice you would give to someone starting out?
Take a look at your strengths and weaknesses and build up your strengths while disguising your weaknesses. I know that's kind of cryptic, but that's like the mentality to have. And then when it comes to other things, just focus on defense and the simple fundamentals. Don't worry about going crazy with power or speed or anything. Doesn't matter. Just focus on fundamentals and defending yourself first and foremost. Good defense will get you through fights, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Like, look at the greatest of all time, Floyd. Just a defense. Obviously, you might not agree with the greatest of all time, but like, he's just
No, you're fair.
He's just a masterpiece of defensive. You know what I mean? Like he really mastered the game of defending.
That's where I put him. Like at least top 3 all-time defensive boxers. That's where I'd rank. Like, yeah, dude.
You look at fighting in general, and like I feel like the main point of fighting is to hit and to not get hit. And
right.
I feel like he played that at the best of level.
He definitely did. Definitely did. Had the highest ring IQ out of anybody in his generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously boxing is not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. How has boxing shaped who you are today? Both in and outside of the ring.
It's definitely it's like a flip because people who know me know that I'm kind of like a little weird, a little awkward outside of the ring, but in there it's like I'm a completely different person. So it definitely provided confidence both in and out of the ring for sure. And just the way I carry myself, I feel like that's with all martial artists, like it just kind of changes you for the better, builds discipline, core values. So I would say it's definitely been a positive impact. And I mean, I don't think I could go without it, like I said beforehand. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a part of me now.
100%. What's something people don't realize about the life of a boxer?
You could say it with all combat sports, but it's a lonely path. It's definitely a very lonely path, and people want to say things about that, but it's truthful, man. Like you can have as many friends as you want, you can have all the girls, you can have all the money, but when you're in that ring, you're alone. And nobody's gonna be telling you like after a while to keep training or don't do that or don't drink this or don't stay up. It's something you have to do. And
it creates a level of discipline that no one understands.
Yeah.
And not even just not even just you being in the cage the night of the fights, but it's just you like in the gym, those hours, putting in the time, the dedication, the blood, the sweat, the tears, People
don't see that part, man.
They don't. Like at the end of the day, everyone has a team around them and surrounded, but it's always a certain individual putting in the action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, putting in the extra work.
And it's draining at times. It's draining.
For sure. For sure. It's like I can only imagine with the cage too, man. Like that's and with wrestling too. I do fuck that.
You gotta find the joy in that somehow.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But let's talk about these fights coming up. Raleigh.
Uh,
You have Ryan Garcia versus Raleigh Romero.
Yep.
who you
How do
got for
you
that fight, actually?
how do you feel about that one? Because I know you're big on boxing. What's your takeaway on that?
Garcia is going to start him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rolly's good. Like, he hits hard. He's definitely a sound boxer, and he's proved he can be on the elite level. But
That's,
he's got a lot of holes in his defense,
mm,
and he can be a little wild. And like Garcia's, he's no perfect boxer for sure. I mean, that was shown well against Haney. He has a lot of holes in his defense, and he relies on his athleticism to get him through fights. But that speed is going to blitz the crap out of Rolly,
I
at
was
least in my opinion.
I was seeing a video that Garcia, not Garcia, but Tank was saying that Raleigh hits harder than Garcia.
We'll see. I mean, I have
I
heard
feel
he
like
hits hard. Like,
I feel like anyone who could say that it would be him because he fought them both.
true,
So,
true.
but
He did fight a drained Ryan Garcia though.
true, that was a big weight cut on him.
That was bad. He looked like a skeleton.
Mm.
He looked like Connor did when he cut weight. I think the fight Aldo.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever seen that. He looked.
He was drained.
honestly, Ryan Garcia, like after that fight, after the Tank fight, and then him fighting Haney, like he surprised me so much in that Haney fight. Like I think he surprised
Word.
everyone in that Haney fight.
Dude, that left was on the money every time.
Not even just the fight, but like him, like like
Knocking Haney down so many fucking times that whole fucking fight, bro.
his game that like
So many times.
I don't know if it's a game. Do you think it's a game or is it that he plays like in and outside the cage? Like, do you think he'd be like? What do you think it's a character that he's just like persuading, or is it like he actually got some loose screws? You know what I mean?
I think it's both for sure. I think it's a bit of both.
Mm.
Like, he definitely had everybody fooled going into that Haney fight for sure. He had me fooled. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, to be honest. But at the same time, I do think there's like a control element to it as well. Like he has those problems, but he's like exaggerating them so people, fall into it.
And then he's coming off the suspension now for the 1 year because didn't he tested positive for something?
I can't remember what it was, but yeah, he had a very small amount in the system, and he did test positive, so they banned him for a year. And then Haney got his O back.
Yeah, I seen that. So he's technically still undefeated. How do you think he's undefeated or nah? He's not.
Nah.
He got sound his ass so many fucking times, bro. He got embarrassed, dude.
Yo.
That's why he wanted his fucking O back, bro. He took a seat.
Valid.
No, he did get smoked. Like, I don't know. You just can't come back from that. The way his team managed it, I think, is the problem with Haney right now. Is like his team was, well, we're gonna sue you for battery, and like, dude, you can't do that shit. This is boxing, bro.
Yeah, I feel like his whole career he's always been the golden boy, and when he's thrown into the fire now, it's like, oh shit, this is how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a little eye opening. I feel for him.
For sure. I think he could turn it around. He's a really good boxer, but
100%.
He's got a tough opponent too. I was doing some research on him. He's got no joke. He's got no slouch of an opponent.
But I agree with both of y'all about that. The Garcia over Raleigh.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, obviously not 100%. You never know.
Right.
It's so unexpected in the fight game. But next we have Canelo Álvarez versus. I don't know too much about William Scull. Do you?
I did my homework.
Yeah.
I did my homework. So the guy is he's like a Cuban fighter. And, when I saw this, I was like, oh, they're feeding some random no-name to Canelo so he could defend his title and then fight Crawford. in like September or something. But from what I've seen, there's like two scenarios. There's one where all the guys that this Scull guy has fought are bums, and what I saw was just nonsense, and he can't compete at the highest level, and Canelo's going to smoke him if that's the case.
Mm.
But the other scenario, if he can do what he was doing against those other guys to Canelo, stylistically, it's a really, really, really not good matchup for Canelo.
Is he bigger than Canelo, or is he same size?
I didn't look at like.
What region is he from?
What nation is he from?
Yeah, like what region is he
I mean,
from?
he was wearing like Cuban trunks, like Cuba trunks, but I don't know if he's from there. I think I'll have to look, but I didn't write that down. All I wrote down was like his technique, and he had really good he had good power. He did look bigger than Canelo. He definitely looked bigger than Canelo. And the biggest thing I noticed was he dismantled people that used a high guard. Like if they used a high guard and they sat in it, he freaking found the holes and he just broke it right down. So
is his footwork crazy?
I wouldn't say it's like crazy, but he knows when to shift. He knows when to dance, and sometimes he'll have his hands down a little bit and play on the outside. But it could be bad. I still think Canelo's going to win, but I think it might be a little closer than people are expecting.
I see.
Do you think it complements Canelo's style, like the way that his feet are positioned? Because that's one of Canelo's biggest tweaks would be his feet.
Yeah. Wait. So are you asking if this guy like complements Canelo or
like kind of like goes against? I guess like is like a threat to Canelo.
Yeah. Because Canelo loves to walk forward with a high guard and like pull back and like slip, and you can do that. But I mean, if you watched this fight against Bivol, he kind of sat in the guard against the ropes and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1 just kept getting rained on his guard because all he wanted to do was sit in the guard and try and counter off it. When you have somebody that's super static with their guard, they're really easy to land combinations on. And this Scull guy seems to do a good job of finding the gaps in the high guard. So Canelo just can't do that. If he doesn't do that and he finds his shots like through proper boxing, which he can do, he'll be fine. But that's like the only path to victory I see for Scull. I just think a lot of people seen it. I seen it and was like, this is just easy. But I think it could be closer.
Mm. Not like who's the last person that gave him a run for the Bivol?
Bivol, yeah, dude.
Bivol.
He beat him.
He was a lot bigger though too.
I really did not like that match. I hated that fight. Like as much as I loved Canelo, like I knew Bivol won the fight that they first had, and Canelo for some reason was close on the scorecards for a few judges. I don't know if you peeped that. That's crazy. That's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, like he was up against Bivol?
Yeah, at times when he really wasn't. They had some really close rounds when at times it really wasn't.
He's had a few controversies like with Triple G.
Yeah. Well.
So I mean, no, I get you. It definitely does suck.
What do you feel about here? I'll have you take away the next fight.
Okay, so Naoya Inoue versus Ramon Cardenas.
Yeah.
Inoue is like the most well-rounded boxer I've seen in a long time. And I mean, I don't have my one notebook on me, but he's basically been fighting in title fights since like his 5th or 6th fight. And he's like in his 30th fight or like mid-30s fights. So he's been really, really like at it. And he's already a 2-division undisputed champion.
How old is he?
He's like, I think he's either 28 or early 30s, somewhere around there.
Still so young though.
He's still young. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's like early 30s. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's just great. Just a great fighter. Really hits hard, and he's proven he can move up weight classes and dominate. And I mean, he's been down, and he's proven he's got that heart.
That dog.
Yeah, he's got that dog. His opponent, the guy's like really well rounded as well, but until I see him lose once, I'm never gonna pick against Inoue right now. That's where I'm at with him.
And I like watching those lighter weight classes when it comes to boxing because they're always throwing. There's always action. You're always seeing something getting done.
Right. Not a lot of that, like, just
Yeah,
kind of plodding around.
feeling them out, waiting,
Yeah.
which I
There's a place for
understand,
that, but
but
yeah.
you
No,
know,
man. Dude, there's two more on that one Garcia card.
yeah. Who
You
else
got
is fighting
Devin
on that?
Haney versus what?
Who else is fighting on it?
Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez.
Haney's fighting on that card.
Yeah, Haney's fighting on that card.
Really?
Yeah, so I think they're doing it like if Garcia wins and Haney wins, they'll do a rematch.
Is that like so? Is Haney's fights for any belts or no?
It might be for a belt. I can't
Probably.
remember. It might be.
I feel like there's so many belts in boxing, it gets confusing at times.
Like, I mean, I could explain a little bit of it if you wanted, but
Yeah, go ahead.
dude, so you have the main four, which is the WBA, the WBC, the WBO, and the IBF, right? Basically, all of those are separate sanctioning bodies. And basically, by what that means is like they can sanction world title fights. So they have permission to do that. And each of them has their own set of rankings and stuff to acquire them. And, you know, when you hear somebody say they're undisputed, they have all four, right? The reason that happened, pretty much corporate greed. Like, you go back to like the 50s, there's only one belt. And then like another group was like, oh, well, we kind of recognize this guy as a champion, so we're going to make our own belt. And then you have the split where it became the WBA, WBC. And then you had another guy that was like, hey, we got a belt. And it really didn't have much weight in boxing. And then, you know, like a really famous champion would acquire it, and then it gave it, you know, weight in the world title picture. So then they added another fourth one with the IBF, or was it the WBO? It was either the IBF or then the WBO. Besides the point, it's people call it alphabet soup in boxing because that's what it is. It overcomplicates the sport. On top of that, you have the Ring magazine, which basically gives out their own belt to whom they view as the best. So then you got five. And then you have the lineal champion. So that's basically the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy all the way to the beginning.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. So there's a lot
That's
of belts.
probably the better one. The better title, wouldn't it be?
The lineal?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best one to get.
Is it?
It is. I mean, aside from being undisputed, the lineal is like you beat the one everybody saw as the best. You know what I mean?
So that's not the WBC, is it?
No. So yeah, the WBC is like one of the four. You know, I think it was the second one to exist in history when they had two belt era.
Oh, okay.
And then the three belt was like around Mike Tyson's era, and then I want to say in the 90s is when the fourth belt was introduced. Maybe the 2000s. The ring has been around for a while, and the lineal has always been around. That's like that goes back to like the 1800s when boxing first really started in America.
I always thought the WBC just had its like one belt.
Yeah. So the WBC they have one world championship belt. The WBC everyone knows, and it's per weight class.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do stupid shit because people who don't watch a lot of boxing, they might not want to watch a fight unless it's for a title, or a fighter might not want to fight unless it's for a title. So they'll make one up.
Just a random belt.
Just they did one for what was it? Mayweather versus McGregor. It was like the WBC Diamond belt, and they'll just make belts and throw them out like they're giving candy to children.
Oh, I didn't even know that was for the. I didn't even know like a belt was on the line.
It was more like a commemorative thing. I don't think you would defend it, but they just put it on the line for something to say.
BMF.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the BMF belt? I think it's
cool.
A cool thing. I just don't like how it's like. It started off in the welterweight division, then like it was Jorge, Nate Diaz, then Jorge got it. Jorge never defended his BMF belt.
Nope.
So they just took it from him, and then like, I feel like I don't know, just be getting passed around.
He did retire.
Yeah, but then they took it from him.
Yeah.
Oh, did he retire first and then they took it from him?
I don't know, cause didn't he took the Usman fight after
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot.
That's
Yeah.
right. And then Usman didn't take it. Ilya doesn't have the BMF title either, despite beating Max.
That's a good point.
True.
It's crazy, ain't it?
Wait, Max has the BMF belt?
It's still Max versus Dustin, and Dustin might get the BMF title.
I feel like they gotta give it to Charles, bro. Charles will keep you like BMF.
Charles, yeah.
Charles, I like Charles. I fuck with Charles.
He's gotta get in there for the BMF belt.
I hear that him and Ilya are potentially fighting.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's a match, yeah.
Ilya is my favorite fighter right now.
Right now, you're like MMA.
MMA, Ilya.
That's solid. I'd say Ilya too. I really like Hamzat though.
Yeah, he's a dog, man.
Yeah.
Dude, what he did to Whitaker's jaw was like the scariest shit I've ever seen.
It's just crazy. It's just actually terrifying.
Who's your favorite?
Bro, them
fighter
X-rays.
No, who's your favorite fighter? I didn't know what you're gonna
Low-key
say.
right now.
Are you gonna,
Right now.
dude?
As much as I love Charles Oliveira.
You glazing if you actually say it, bro. Yo, you glazing, bro. You glazing. No, you can't, bro. You can't.
He has so much potential, bro. Like, yes.
Take it out.
Who'd you say?
Take it out.
Right now, but of all time, it's either Charles Oliveira or Dustin Poirier.
Oh, all right. I thought you were gonna say it.
Of all time, right now, I can't say
Alright,
I can't say Patty of all time. I can't say that.
No, I was talking like right now. Right now.
Oh, as of right now,
Yeah, because all time for me would be like Izzy.
is it? Yeah, is it?
That's fair.
As of right now, though, I'm going after Glaze, bro. Anything? No, actually, Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez. He's a lot more cemented than Patty is right now.
You blue balling us. Why you switching it up like that?
Pull the rug. Nah, I'll say Diego Lopez.
That's I can see that though. I respect that.
He went in such a toe-to-toe fight with Volk, and holy fuck, it's just, I don't know. He has a heart of a warrior, and I just like the fact that he reacts to these punches like really primal way. He's a high level contender. I love Diego Lopez. He reminds me of Charlie a little bit too.
Mm.
They're charismatic ass like people.
I feel like the UFC really likes that. Obviously, you know, like someone like Chandler who's 2-5 in the UFC, but like every time you see a Michael Chandler fight, it's a good fight. You know what I mean? Like regardless he wins or loses, it's always a good fight.
Either the world beater or the punching bag.
Yo, fact.
Bro, when he killed Tony, that was like,
Oh man, that shit. Yeah, I cried. I can't lie. That shit was depressing.
that fall off with Tony was like the saddest shit I've ever seen in combat sports, to be honest.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel why did Dana get it like why did he let it get to that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a reversal now.
Like 7-fight losing streak, like
getting starched, getting fucking submitted, and he doesn't tap. And it's like, bro, fuck. The amount of brain damage he's accumulated is insane now.
Bro, get this. He's got schizophrenia, too.
And schizophrenia, and a whole slew of other diseases. Like, it's like, fuck, bro. His brain's entirely fried. Like, he's not.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like
you can't live in society.
No.
I was low key a little scared. Like, I'm scared when certain champions like take those fights and they just don't like retire. I feel like
scared for Volk.
Yeah, I was scared for Volk, but like right now, like I'm a huge Izzy fan. I'm scared for like I don't know, like what is really next for Izzy? You know, like as a
he
fan,
looked good in that most recent one.
He looked good, but as a fan, and I like for him, I think he's just hanging up, man. Like I would love to see him keep fighting, but I don't want it to get to the point to where like he's looking good in these fights, but then gets caught, and then like he builds like a reputation like a Ferguson, where he what his I think his MMA record right now is like 22-4, 21-4, which is solid.
Something like that.
You know what I mean? I don't want it to like keep getting patted on just from like these no names. Like even the last dude he fought, like
Yeah, that was sad, bro.
it was because he was beating him. He was looking so good, and he just got caught.
Yeah.
Sucks.
He honestly looked better than he did against Pereira when he beat Pereira. I think that fight got in his head. Like, I can't speak for the ground game. I can't speak for any of that. I can only speak for some of the striking and not even the kicks, really. But when he was against the cage and he countered him off the cage, if you watch his fights after that, he seems to want to do that shit again. Like that became his recipe to keep knocking people out, and it kind of hurt him really badly against Strickland.
I think that I was watching the podcast. I think that's who he's supposed to fight next, actually.
Oh, really? A rematch?
I'm pretty sure he's supposed to fight Strickland next.
I like that.
I would too. I think
he can win that.
That's low-key like the only fight I'd really want to see. Because like Hamzat's gonna be the king of that division. I don't want to see Izzy like. I don't want to see Izzy like fighting Hamzat like that. I really feel like Hamzat runs through anyone in that division. Like the way he finished Robert.
Bobby Knuckles. His
Like,
fucking teeth pulled.
That's a scary weight class too, like in general. But like I feel like Chimaev, where he is, like, cause he used to fight at welterweight, and he said like he's thinking about going light heavyweight at times. But I truly believe like wherever like if he could make the weight for 170, and if he wanted to go 205, I believe he could be a champion at any of the three of those weight classes.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I really do.
He's got the technique, explosivity, mentality. He just has to get used to a different frame. He's so good at middleweight, though.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying he's like the best wrestler in most of those classes because a lot of them don't have that many good grapplers, you know, especially light heavyweight.
How do you feel about his boxing, though?
I haven't really seen too much of it, but didn't he piece up Gilbert Burns pretty good on the feet?
They both kind of got pieced up, not gonna lie.
Yeah, like I think he's got good striking, especially for where he's at, and I think his wrestling just complements it. He's like the whole package, you know. He's definitely going to be a champ.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the only downfall of Chimaev that he's just a little too chinny. I feel like at times, just his chin hanging.
Yeah,
but I feel like that can happen to anyone. It's hard to keep that thing tucked at all times.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But back to you, Skyler. I wanna, before we wrap this up, I wanna go over your like what you have, your upcoming fights next. I wanna go over those again, and then what should we be on the lookout for?
All right, I got you. So 29th of June is potentially a fight in Hamburg. So it'll be like an amateur fight. Right? Dude, I don't even know where it is either, to be honest with you.
Buffalo.
Buffalo? Okay. Yeah, so it's around there, and we'll try and do that. And I'll be posting that on my Instagram, Skyler the Ripper Hanna. And other than that, really just focused on, you know, saving money and doing stuff. A little bit of art on the side. So
yeah,
maybe look out for a comic if I have the time.
Definitely. Check that shit out. It's actually dope.
Yeah, his art's like really amazing. Really, really good.
Appreciate that.
There's poetry in that shit too, so like there's a little bit of something for everyone.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Please.
But
that's what art's for, you know, like Masashi said.
Yeah.
It's no therapy.
Yeah, for real.
Honestly.
All right, it was fun talking to you, Sky. Thanks for having being on the Rounds of Life podcast, and I'm sure this won't be the last time. This will be the many. We'll have you back again. Welcome to the Rounds of Life podcast. Thank you.
Give me the call, man. Just give me the call.
We're just trying to make it to the bell. I'm Caden Ellis.
Now Milton Leva Del Carmen from Cage Fighting, the real fights. We're breaking down MMA, the menace of the world, and whatever else life throws at us.
No rules, no judgment.